Let me ask you something right now. What if the love you're praying for is looking for you, but can't find you because you're too busy chasing what was never meant for you? See, the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, not she that goes out hunting, begging, or settling. No, baby, you're the prize. You're the good thing. So the real question is, are you positioned to be found, or are you just available to be played with? Today, we're not talking about chasing a man. We're talking about becoming the kind of woman a real man prays to find. Get ready, because this ain't about lowering your standards. It's about rising to your calling. Let's talk about it. When it comes to relationships and love, especially for women of faith, there's this pressure in society to go out and search for the one. Whether it's scrolling through endless dating apps, jumping into situationships, or compromising values just to feel chosen, the world keeps telling women to hustle for love. But the truth is, when the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, it's a reminder that you were never created to chase, you were created to become. There's power in understanding that your role isn't to look for love, it's to become the kind of woman who's ready for the love God is sending. This keynote is about shifting your focus from searching for a man to investing in yourself. Because the truth is, the more you grow into your identity, your confidence, your calling, the more attractive you become to the kind of man who's aligned with your destiny. Not a counterfeit, not a time waster, but a man who's already walking with God, who's already building his life and is looking for a partner that matches that same energy. You don't have to go searching for someone to complete you. You need to be so complete in who you are that the only thing he can do is add value to what God already built in you. It's not about being passive or doing nothing. It's about becoming intentional with your life. Work on your emotional healing. Get your finances in order. Cultivate your gifts. Deepen your relationship with God. Surround yourself with purpose-driven people. Serve your community. Love yourself enough to become the best version of you. Not for a man, but because you know your worth and what you carry. Because when you walk in purpose, you shine. And when you shine, you attract the kind of love that's rooted in something deeper than appearance or surface-level vibes. You can't rush God's process. Some of the women out here are asking for a king but haven't prepared themselves to be a queen. Some are praying for a man of vision but haven't done the inner work to handle the weight of that vision. And that's why this keynote is so important. Stop searching, stop begging, stop stressing, and start becoming. That's where your power is. You are the blessing. You are the good thing. So step into that, walk like it, talk like it, live like it. Because when the right man finds you, he should find a woman who knows who she is, who's already walking in faith, who's not waiting for someone to complete her story, but is living her story and allowing someone to be part of the next chapter. That's the type of woman who stands out. That's the type of woman who gets chosen with intention, not for what she looks like, but for who she is, not because she chased, but because she became. So don't worry about being found. Focus on being formed. Don't stress about when he'll show up. Focus on becoming someone worth showing up for. The right man isn't going to be intimidated by your growth. He's going to be inspired by it. And when he finds you, he won't just see beauty, he'll see destiny. He won't just see a woman, he'll see a good thing. There's a big difference between positioning yourself and pursuing something. Pursuit implies you're doing the chasing, you're doing the convincing. You're putting yourself in a space where you're constantly proving your worth. But positioning, that's power. That means you're making decisions, setting boundaries, and aligning your life in a way that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I'm not afraid to wait for what matches that. When the Bible says, he that findeth, it makes it clear that the responsibility to pursue is on the man. But that doesn't mean you just sit at home doing nothing. It means you get in position. Just like a flower doesn't chase the bees, it blooms and the right bees come. A woman in position is a woman who's living in purpose, who's focused on what God has called her to do, and who trusts that when the time is right, what's meant for her will arrive, not because she ran after it, but because she was in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. Too many women confuse being available with being accessible. Just because you're single doesn't mean you're supposed to be constantly visible, constantly responding to attention that doesn't deserve you, constantly lowering your standard just to be seen. When you position yourself, you understand that your value is not found in how many dates you go on, how many DMs you get, or how many compliments you receive. It's found in your alignment with your purpose. It's in your peace. It's in your self-respect. Positioning looks like this. You're building your business, growing in your career, staying committed to your faith, surrounding yourself with healthy relationships, and taking care of your body, mind, and soul. You're not obsessing over timelines. You're not comparing your journey to others. You're not desperate. You're disciplined. That's what makes you magnetic to the right man, not because you chased him, but because he saw something in you that stood out. And let's be real, the wrong kind of men will chase you when you're out of position. They'll see vulnerability, insecurity, and desperation as a chance to play games. But when you're in position, you become unreachable to the foolish and undeniable to the faithful. The man who's serious, who's focused, who's walking with God. He doesn't want someone who's everywhere, entertaining everybody. He wants someone who's grounded, a woman who's secure, a woman who's not thirsty for attention but full of intention. You've got to remember, a queen doesn't leave her throne to go prove herself to every man walking by. She stays seated in her dignity. She knows her worth. And eventually the one who's worthy of sitting beside her will find his way to her. That's the beauty of positioning. It's not passive, it's powerful. You are doing your part while trusting God to do his. So stop trying to chase a man who isn't chasing you. Stop trying to hold on to someone who doesn't value you. And stop giving energy to those who don't see your worth. Instead, get in position. Keep growing. Keep blooming. Keep showing up for your own life. Because the right one won't just find a beautiful woman, he'll find a purpose-filled, God-centered, confident woman who didn't lower her standard to be found. She simply got in position. Preparation is the silent proof of expectation. When you truly believe that something is coming, you don't wait until it arrives to start getting ready. You prepare in advance. That's what faith looks like in action. And when it comes to love, especially the kind that's purposeful and aligned with God's plan, preparation is essential. If you're praying for a good man, a husband, a partner with vision and strength, then you've got to start living like you actually believe he's on the way. You wouldn't invite guests to your house and wait until they show up to start cleaning. You prepare before they arrive because you expect them. That same principle applies here. If you're asking God for something as sacred as a life partner, you've got to show him you're serious. That means preparing your heart, your habits, and your lifestyle to reflect the kind of relationship you're believing for. Too many people are asking for blessings they're not prepared to handle. But preparation is a sign of honor. It says, God, I'm ready for what I'm asking for. So what does that preparation look like? First, it starts with your inner world. Healing. That's the first layer. You cannot step into a healthy relationship while dragging the baggage of past pain, bitterness, unforgiveness, or insecurity. You've got to do the work of letting go. Go to therapy, pray consistently, forgive where needed, not for them, but for your freedom. Because when you enter into something new with the wounds of the old, you sabotage what God is trying to give you. Healing is hard, but it's holy. Next, get your life in order. Preparation also means practical maturity. Are you financially responsible? Do you have your own goals? Are you disciplined with your time and decisions? Are you emotionally stable? These things matter. Because a relationship, especially marriage, doesn't fix broken systems, it exposes them. You can't be praying for a husband but living in chaos. You can't want a strong leader but refuse to develop your own strength. Get your structure in place now. When the right man shows up, he won't be coming to rescue you, he'll be coming to build with you. Another part of preparation is growing in your relationship with God. Because let's be honest, if you don't know who you are in Christ, it's too easy to lose yourself in someone else. You need to be rooted, solid, unshakable. That's what attracts someone who's also rooted. Spend time in the Word. Develop a prayer life. Serve, worship. Get so anchored in your identity as a daughter of the King that no man, no matter how charming, can pull you off your path. You want to build a relationship on a spiritual foundation, not just physical attraction or emotional highs. And don't forget your surroundings. Are your friendships healthy? Are your conversations edifying? Are you connected to people who hold you accountable, speak truth, and encourage you to keep growing? Preparation also means protecting your atmosphere, because the right man can't enter your life if your space is still filled with people and patterns that don't belong there anymore. So if you really believe in for love, real love, then act like it. Prepare your heart, prepare your habits, prepare your space. You don't wait to get ready, you live ready. That's how favor finds you. That's how he that findeth discovers a woman who's not only beautiful, but built up, balanced, and in full bloom. Because a prepared woman isn't hoping for a man to complete her. She's ready to compliment the one who's aligned with her destiny. God's timing is not the same as our timing. We often want things now, especially love. When we're single, it's easy to feel like we're being overlooked, forgotten, or delayed. But here's the truth. God doesn't operate on our emotional clocks. He operates on purpose. And love that's rooted in Him doesn't come just when we want it. It comes when we're ready to sustain it. That's why the right relationship will never show up when you're running on emptiness. It shows up when you're whole. Too many people are trying to build something meaningful while still bleeding. They're dating from broken places, forming connections based on loneliness rather than alignment. And what that ends up creating is disappointment, confusion, and cycles of pain. You cannot expect God to bless you with something holy while you're still feeding old habits and broken patterns. That's why this keynote matters so much. God will send the right person when you are whole, not when you are lonely. Loneliness is real. It can sneak up on you in the middle of the night. It can make holidays feel heavy and make scrolling through social media feel like a constant reminder that everyone else has someone but you. But here's what loneliness does. It distorts your vision. It tells you to settle. It convinces you to entertain people you know aren't right for you. It makes you lower your standards just so you don't have to be alone. But being with the wrong person can be lonelier than being by yourself. When you're whole, you see things differently. Wholeness doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you've done the inner work. You've confronted your wounds. You've learned how to enjoy your own company. You know how to fill your days with purpose. You have a life that's already full, and you're not waiting for someone else to bring you joy because your joy is already anchored in God. That's the kind of strength that makes you unshakable. That's what makes you attractive to someone who's also done the work. God loves you too much to send you someone when your heart isn't ready. He's not going to give you a man to become your identity because He's trying to root your identity in Him first. He's not going to send you someone to fill your voids because He's the only one who can do that. And if you're still trying to find a man to complete you, you'll keep choosing people based on your wounds instead of your wisdom. Wholeness is about balance. It's about knowing how to carry peace within yourself. It's about having vision for your life, whether someone is in it or not. It's about learning how to say no to temporary comfort in order to wait for lasting connection. It's spiritual maturity. And when God sees you've reached that place, He can trust you with the relationship you've been praying for, because now you won't misuse it. You won't idolize it. You'll honor it. So if you're in a season of waiting, don't let loneliness push you into places you don't belong. Don't let it trick you into thinking something is better than nothing. That's not God's best. That's just emotional survival. And you were made for more than that. Use this season to heal, to grow, to deepen your faith, and to build a life you love, not one you're trying to escape from. Because when you're whole, you don't beg to be chosen. You don't compete to be seen. You become the kind of woman who knows her worth. And when He that findeth finally shows up, he'll find someone complete, grounded, and truly ready. Not just for love, but for purpose-driven partnership. There's a major difference between being a blessing and being a burden. When a man of God is praying for a wife, he's not just asking for beauty or chemistry. He's asking for peace, partnership, and someone who adds value to his life. And if you want to be the answer to that prayer, you have to make sure you're becoming the kind of woman who carries peace, strength, and purpose, not chaos, insecurity, and unresolved baggage. This keynote is a wake-up call. Be the answer to his prayer, not his burden. A lot of people want love, but they don't want to do the work it takes to become someone who can sustain it. You can't pray for a man with vision if you're still carrying pain from your past. You can't say you want someone who communicates with maturity if you shut down or explode every time something triggers you. The truth is, love will test you. Marriage will stretch you. Being in a relationship with a man who's called to something greater requires you to be emotionally stable, spiritually grounded, and mentally secure. No one is perfect, but there's a difference between imperfection and immaturity. A man who's focused on his calling doesn't need someone who constantly needs rescuing. He's not looking for someone to fix. He's looking for someone to build with. And that means you have to take responsibility for your healing, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual growth. Don't wait until he shows up to start working on your character. Do it now. Because if you're asking for a man of God, know that he's also asking God for a woman who is whole, wise, and walking in her purpose. Being his peace doesn't mean you don't have emotions or that you shrink yourself to keep the relationship calm. It means you bring calm into the relationship because you've learned how to handle storms without becoming one. You know how to communicate with grace. You know how to stand firm in who you are. You know how to support without losing yourself. That's the kind of woman who uplifts a man, not one who drains him. Sometimes we get so focused on wanting someone to show up and love us right that we forget to ask, am I ready to love someone right? Because love is not just receiving, it's also giving. If you're carrying bitterness, jealousy, control, or fear into a relationship, those things don't disappear when the right man arrives. They get magnified. And eventually, even a good man will grow tired if he constantly feels like he's pouring into someone who's not willing to pour back. So this is your moment to reflect. Are you becoming the answer to someone's prayer, or are you waiting for someone to come fix what you refuse to confront? Are you working on your growth, or are you waiting for love to give you motivation? Are you peaceful, or are you unpredictable? Are you encouraging, or are you always complaining? God will never send someone into your life to be your emotional crutch. That's not fair to him, and it's not healthy for you. He'll send someone to complement what he's already been doing in you. So focus on being whole, stable, joyful, and spiritually strong, not because a man is coming, but because you owe that to yourself. Because when the right one comes, he's not going to want to fix you, he's going to want to partner with you. And when he sees that you're not just pretty, but powerful, not just kind, but wise, not just present, but prepared, he's going to recognize that you're not a burden, you're the blessing he's been praying for. It's easy to feel forgotten when things don't happen on your timeline. When you're doing the work, healing your heart, growing in your faith, and staying faithful, but love still hasn't come, it's natural to start questioning whether God sees you. But the truth is, just because you haven't been found yet doesn't mean you're being ignored. You're not hidden because you're unworthy. You're hidden because you're being protected. That's the power behind this keynote. What feels like delay is often divine protection. Sometimes we think God is withholding a relationship from us, when in reality, he's shielding us from the wrong one. He sees what we can't see. He knows who would distract us, derail us, or destroy what he's building in us. And rather than letting us walk into disaster, he'll keep us covered until the timing and the person is right. That kind of protection doesn't always feel good, but it's always for our good. Because love is not just about being chosen, it's about being aligned with purpose. If God gave you what you wanted too soon, you might settle for someone who looks right but isn't right. You might fall for charisma instead of character. You might latch on to someone who entertains your loneliness but can't handle your calling. So instead, God hides you. He tucks you into a season where it's just you and him. A season where you're not chasing, you're not striving, you're not compromising. You're simply trusting that when it's time, nothing will be able to stop the right person from finding you. Being hidden is sacred. It's where God does his deepest work. He prunes, refines, restores, and strengthens you. He teaches you how to walk in identity, how to stand in confidence, how to say no to what doesn't align. In the hidden season, you learn how to love yourself without needing constant affirmation from others. You learn how to sit in silence and still feel full. You discover that you don't need to be seen by the world to be valued by heaven. And here's the key. When you let God hide you, you also let him reveal you at the right time. When the right man comes along, it won't be forced. You won't have to perform. You won't have to change who you are just to keep his attention. He'll see you, truly see you, and recognize that the wait was worth it. Because while the world couldn't find you, God was preparing you. You weren't overlooked, you were preserved. Think about the most valuable treasures on earth. They're not kept in public view, they're stored in vaults behind security, protected from exposure. Why? Because their value demands protection. That's how God sees you. You're a treasure, and he's not going to let just anyone access you. So if he's keeping you hidden, trust that it's because he's still working out details you don't even know about. He's not just preparing you, he's preparing him too. So don't rush out of the hidden place. Don't force what's not ready. Don't settle because you're tired of waiting. Stay covered. Stay in prayer. Stay committed to your journey. Because when God reveals you, the right one will recognize you, and you won't have to chase, convince, or prove your worth. He'll find you and he'll know. You were never forgotten. You were never invisible. You were just hidden on purpose for a purpose. And when the time is right, nothing will be able to keep what's meant for you from finding you. One of the most important truths you need to hold on to in your journey toward love is this: real ones don't play games. When a man knows what he wants and he's walking in purpose, there's no confusion in his actions. He doesn't breadcrumb you, ghost you, or keep you in emotional limbo. He moves with clarity. He leads with intention. That's what sets a real man apart from a time waster. And that's what this keynote is all about. Understanding that when the right one finds you, you won't be left guessing. Too many women are exhausted because they've been caught up in cycles with men who don't know what they want, or worse, men who do know but just want to use their time and energy for their own convenience. These are the ones who text inconsistently, flirt with no commitment, make vague promises, and expect loyalty without giving clarity. But a man of God, one who has vision, character, and maturity, is not out here playing with women's hearts. He's not looking to impress, he's looking to invest. Real men don't run from responsibility. They rise to it. They see a woman of value and they pursue her with purpose. That doesn't mean he's perfect or that things will be easy, but it does mean that you won't feel confused about where you stand. He'll call when he says he will. He'll be consistent with his words and actions. And most importantly, he'll make his intentions known. When he finds his good thing, he'll treat her as such, not as a placeholder or a convenience. It's so important to know the difference between movement and progress. Just because someone is giving you attention doesn't mean they're leading you anywhere. Just because he's around doesn't mean he's aligned with your future. If a man keeps you wondering where you stand, chances are you're not standing anywhere solid. The real ones will take the guesswork out of it. They will lead with clarity and confirm with action. One of the biggest traps women fall into is thinking they can wait it out until a man gets serious. But if he's not serious now, he's probably not going to be later. People don't magically change with time. They change with intention. You can't force someone to grow into who you want them to be. And you shouldn't have to convince someone to choose you when the right one will know you're the one without needing pressure. You deserve peace, not anxiety. You deserve clarity, not confusion. You deserve consistency, not chaos. And when you're walking in your worth, you won't settle for someone who plays games with your heart. You'll wait for the one who recognizes your value and shows up accordingly. The right man will know that your time, your love, your energy are too precious to be mishandled, and he'll treat them with honor. That's why it's so important to stop chasing and start discerning. Just because someone shows interest doesn't mean they have good intentions. Let time reveal character. Watch how he handles silence, conflict, and commitment. And if you find yourself constantly wondering where things are going, pause. Because confusion is not from God. Peace is. So remember, the real ones don't disappear when things get deep. They don't shy away from intentionality. They don't string you along. They show up, they speak up, and they step up. And when he that findeth finally crosses your path, you'll know he's different, not just by how he talks, but by how he walks. Because real love doesn't play games. It builds foundations. Your standards are not too high. They're your protection. They're not walls to keep love out. They're boundaries that keep dysfunction, confusion, and heartache from getting in. This keynote is a reminder that your standards are not just a list of preferences. They are a reflection of your self-worth, your healing, and your spiritual maturity. And when you truly understand your value, you don't apologize for it. You honor it, because every man can't find you, and that's exactly how it should be. In a world that constantly pressures women to lower the bar just to be chosen, it takes strength to hold your standard. Society will tell you that if you're too confident, you'll intimidate men. If you expect commitment, you'll scare them off. If you have requirements that go beyond the surface like emotional intelligence, spiritual depth, and vision, they'll call you too picky. But here's the truth. The right man won't be scared off by your standards. He'll be inspired by them. He won't see them as demands. He'll see them as direction. Your standard is not a trap, it's a filter. It helps you quickly identify who is serious and who's just curious. It keeps you from wasting your time with people who are impressed by your beauty but uninterested in your purpose. It keeps you from entertaining men who are emotionally unavailable, spiritually immature, or relationally inconsistent. Your standard helps protect your peace, your future, and your calling. But here's the key. Your standard only works if you uphold it. It's not enough to say you want a man of God while tolerating disrespect. You can't say you want emotional maturity, but keep giving access to men who ghost you and come back when it's convenient. Your standard is only as strong as your willingness to enforce it. Love yourself enough to say, this is what I deserve, and I won't settle for less, even if it means waiting longer. Don't let fear of being alone push you to accept less than what you were created for. Yes, there might be fewer options when you live by your values, but that's the point. You don't need hundreds of men to want you. You just need one who's right, one who's sent, one who's real. And that one will appreciate your standards because he has some of his own. The man who's meant for you will be drawn to your discipline. He'll be challenged by your confidence. He'll respect the fact that you don't let just anyone close. He'll understand that your no is not rejection, it's redirection. It's you preserving your heart for the one who's prepared to handle it with care. There's a difference between being alone and being in alignment. Being alone with peace is better than being in a relationship full of chaos. Waiting with dignity is better than settling with regret. And when you stay faithful to your standard, God will honor that. He sees your obedience. He sees your restraint. And in his perfect timing, he'll bring someone who doesn't ask you to shrink, but who matches your growth. So don't drop your crown just because someone doesn't know how to treat a queen. Don't change your standard to get a man. Keep your standard and let it reveal the man who's already becoming the partner you prayed for. Because when he that findeth arrives, he'll find a woman who didn't settle to be chosen. He'll find a woman who stood tall in her truth and waited with wisdom, and he'll know without a doubt that he just found his good thing. Everything you desire in love, peace, purpose, partnership, and alignment begins with who you become while you wait. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. It's not a verse about waiting to be picked. It's about being prepared to be found. It's about knowing your worth, growing in your identity, protecting your peace, and walking in your purpose so boldly that the right man can't help but recognize the favor of God on your life. You don't have to chase, compromise, or settle. You don't have to shrink yourself to be chosen. And you certainly don't have to compete to be seen. All you have to do is stay faithful, stay focused, and stay in position. Let him find you becoming, not begging. Let him find you whole, not waiting to be completed. Let him find you ready, not rushing. Because when God writes the story, it's always worth the wait. The man who's meant to find you will not just see a woman, he'll see a destiny partner. He won't fumble you. He won't confuse you. He'll cherish you, cover you, and build with you. So don't just prepare to be found, prepare to be a good thing. Because when the right one finds you, he'll find favor, and you'll both know that what God brought together was never by accident but by divine design.